All right, everybody, we have been building some things here like this drawbridge that is going to open up some more areas for us around our level, but we want to be able to control it in some different ways. So one thing we're going to do first in this two-part series is setting up a key. In this one, the next one we're going to be doing is a button. So real quickly, I'm going to go in here and make a key. So first thing I want to do is go into my content drawer. I'm going to right click in here. We're going to make a blueprint that's going to be an actor, and I'm going to call this BP underscore key. All right, so this key, what I want to do with it is I just need to make a really quick body for it. So I'm just going to really fast throw something together here to represent my key. And that's just going to be something that, I mean, if you looked at it real quick, you'd probably say, oh yeah, that's probably a key. So that's all I'm looking for right now. Just a nice long heft to the key. And then we're going to put a, I don't know the technical term for what that top of the key is, where you kind of grab it and you twist it there, but I'm going to use a cube for that one and just kind of float it to the top up here. Okay, and I need to squish it down because you don't usually want a big old key head. Is that what you'd call it maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, that looks pretty good. That'll work for a key. All right, so I want to make sure that this at least says key, so I know what I'm working with here. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and click outside of that, and I need to make this a different color. I feel like this all needs to be a different color. So let me highlight both of these. There we go. And we're going to do, let's see, something kind of eye-catching so we can see it from a long ways off. That ought to work. Okay, cool. I'm also going to throw in some rotating movement. There we go. And what this is going to do is just, draw the eye. It's going to spin the key around so people understand, hey, this is probably something I can pick up. Okay, so we're going to go over here and, we're probably going to need one more thing to really make this work well, is a collider that kind of wraps around the whole thing. So I'm going to do collision, and I'm going to do a sphere collider. I'm going to need to go back to my viewport, and I'm going to make sure that's not part of the key, so that is outside. And I'm just going to blow this up and make sure it's covering the key. I just want to wrap it around here real close. There we go. And notice I've got a little bit up off the scene, default scene root, so that it's going to float a little bit off the ground. Really don't have to change anything on the rotating movement. If you click on it and go over here, you'll notice it's rotating on the z-axis at 180 units per second. You can increase it or decrease it depending on what you need. All right, going back over to the event graph, we have our collider here. So what I want to do is highlight that. Then we're going to go in here and do like we usually do and begin overlap. We want to make sure we get the one for the collider. In this case, it's a sphere. Then we're going to cast to our player. It's our side-scrolling player, and it's our character actually. So let me do that. And always remember to hook up your actor. Okay, next thing we want to do is we're going to need to affect something on our character. So what we need to do at this point is open up our side-scrolling character. So let's go to our content drawer, and we need to go to our variant side-scroller folder and blueprints, and here's our side-scrolling character. Now what we're going to be doing in here is just adding a variable. We're just going to be managing a variable with that key. So down here, we're going to be looking at this variables menu and hit that little plus, and it's going to pop up a Boolean, which is exactly what we need. We can always change the value right here into another style or a data type if we need to, but for us, Boolean is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to set this up as key pickup. Okay, and then we can leave it alone. We want to compile it, but we can leave it alone because initially we don't have the key, so we're going to leave this as false. Then we're going to go back over to our key, and with this little object node right here, we can control a lot of aspects of the character, the side-scrolling character. So what we're going to do is pull off of this, and we're going to set key pickup. There's our variable right there. That's the one that we just made in our character. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this one up, and we're going to switch that to true. Now, as far as the key is concerned, that's really all we need it to do for our player in the bridge, but we don't want it to hang out. We want it to go away. So I'm going to drag off of this and do destroy actor. And what that's going to do is just destroy itself, just like it says right there. Okay. So as far as our key is concerned, whoop, go back over there. Just want to compile and save it, and it's done. I might do some things to make it look a little bit different, possibly. Let's see. And it's a pretty large key, but I think that'll work for what we're trying to do. Also, remember, we're working inside of just this one little lane right here as a side scroller. So we want to make sure that we have that key in a space where we can pick it up. Okay, next thing we want to do is we got to go to our bridge. Now, I'll just use this same bridge. Before I do this, I'm going to make a duplicate of this bridge. So I'm going to go into our drop bridge here, and I'm going to, this is just our regular basic bridge, and since this has most of the functionality I want, this duplicate will get us started on this. So this is going to be a drop key bridge. I'm going to put that in there. So this one's going to require a key if you want to use it. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Just delete it. Highlight the whole thing. Whoop, I actually didn't mean to click on that. And delete. And let's bring in a key bridge. Okay, here's our key bridge. And of course, it's not facing the right way. So we're going to flip it around. There we go. Get it to the edge over there so it'll go all the way across, and we need to do a little bit of work on our key bridge. So I'm going to go into it, and right now it's just doing everything just kind of in a basic way, but what we want to do is just check right here after our cast. Since we're able to change the variable, we're also able to check for it right here. So I want to drag off of this, and I want to get the key pickup, see what that variable state is now. If we want to check and see if we have a true or false, like, and do something with it, we'll need to pull off of this execution pin and use a branch. We're going to hook up this Boolean to this condition, and if it's true, then we're going to drop the bridge. Okay. Now, if we come back around and we have the key and the bridge is already down, there's not really anything that's going to happen, so we don't really have to worry about continuous noises or special effects or anything like that at this point, since we haven't added those in. But let's go ahead and see if this is working the way we want it to. Okay, I've got the key and it works. Let me try it again, and let's make it so I can't get the key right away. Let's swap this around a little bit. Whoop, wrong one. There we go. There's the key. Drag that over. Okay, so first off, I want to try it and see if it'll work without me touching it. Now I can climb it, which I'm going to show you guys how to fix that a little bit later. And then I get the key, and I run over here, and now it'll drop. So I can take this over to this next place. So what I'm going to do now is kind of finish up with the key. Our next step is going to be adding in the button, and this takes care of this one for right now. And we'll see you in the next recording.